Welcome to the Perfection Selection, a Creamer Cats TV.
If you like old movies, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to click the like button to preserve our movie heritage for future generations. Welcome back to part 2 in this epic series of 1920s glamour girls and movie stars. Like I said in part 1, this is probably the largest collection of 1920s glamour trade cards that you'll see on YouTube. Please don't forget to check out part 1 if you haven't seen it already. Okay, let's roll on. Of course, on the shock Richter scale, these pictures might look rather tame by today's promiscuous standards. However, they were scandalous for those times, especially when you consider that cards like these came out of packets of everyday products, such as chocolate, tea, soap and cigarettes. You can imagine the prudish, straight-laced religious fanatics pulling out one of these dirty cards out of their box of clean white soap and being so outraged that they marched out in their millions on the streets for these immoral images to be banned and burned at the stake for eternity. There have always been forward-thinking, rebellious ladies since the beginning of time itself, but the real game changer in this situation in the early 20th century was the rise of cinema and the movie idol. In the old days, fashion trends could only really be passed on from person to person in isolated tribes, but the advent of the motion picture meant that millions of people all over the world could watch their favourite movie icon doing something absolutely outrageous at the same time, like Miley Cyrus doing a twerking dance. And of course, this would have encouraged millions of impressionable young minds to do exactly the same, spreading fashions faster than ever before, and shaping and moulding the very fabric of society itself. For hundreds of thousands of years, our caveman ancestors had plodded along without hardly any change whatsoever. But in the last 200 years, mass media has accelerated our human culture, a kind of external form of biological evolution beyond recognition, spreading ideas and technology, fashions far and wide. Now you might say all we have to do to find out about the most important time in the history of mankind is to play back those early movies. But nearly 3/4 of the original movies from that time have been lost forever because they were stored on a material that deteriorates very rapidly. And of course, a lot of the original movie reels that were lucky enough to survive were simply thrown away as new technologies came along. No surprises there. And if you don't believe me, then ask yourself who the first ever movie star was. For decades, the first ever movie stars were forgotten in the mists of time and were only rediscovered many years later, such as Max Linder, who Charlie Chaplin cited as being one of his biggest influences. And what about Florence Lawrence, considered by many to be the first movie star, who was buried in an unmarked grave? That's how much they loved her. And now you can see why humble cards like these are so important in the preservation of not just our movie heritage, but our heritage full stop. So, if you're a budding film director, fashion designer or period costume designer, please feel free to check out my hundreds of videos of these classic collectibles of the greatest roaring 20s movie stars and fashion trendsetters. Thanks for watching. Now that you've seen that video, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos featuring original relics from the roaring 20s. Find out what single event literally triggered the Jazz Age. Also check out one of the first ever rebellious youth movements, the Flappers. See how the rise of the silent movie star helped resurrect fashion trends from ancient glittering civilizations such as ancient Egypt. And have you ever wondered where those feathered headbands and fringe flapper dresses came from.